Hi everyone, it's Leanne. Welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm making a birthday card for a dog lover, and so I'm going to do this on a single layer card and with some Copic coloring. And this is a really bright, fun card for summer. So to begin, I have an A2 size folded card and it's top folded, and then I have a piece of Nina Solar White cardstock in the same size. I have this spare paper from Recollections left over that I'm going to use for this project, and then this is the stamp set from the Greeting Farm, and it's called Lucky Dogs. I'm also going to use the stamp set from Lawn Fawn called Dad and Me. I need the sentiment from that. I want the happy birthday part of the sentiment to bring into this card. And so to get started, I'm going to start with that Nina Solar White cardstock first. I want to cut that down so that it is a little bit smaller than the A2 size base. I want to be able to see the yellow polka dotted paper behind it. So I just want to create a bit of an edge. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this using my paper cutter. And when I checked it, it wasn't quite the size I wanted. I wanted to stay a little more of the border. So I just kept trimming that and comparing it against the card base just until I got that to the right size that I was happy with. So now that I like what that is looking like, I'm going to take that card base, that A2 size folded card base, put some two-way tape on it, and then put it down onto that polka dotted paper. So I'm going to create my base layer first. And now I'm going to trim off any excess just using my X-Acto knife and ruler on my cutting mat. And when I laid this down, I made sure that I laid it down straight so that the polka dots would be in line with the edges of the card. So I do that by just kind of eyeballing the edge of the cut paper, the side that is the cut edge that it comes with. And I just use that as my guide. So now I have my base prepared. I'm ready to do my stamping. I'm going to use the little dog in the middle. I haven't used this one in a project yet, and he's really cute. So I'm going to use him. So I'm using my Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp this with, of course, because I'm doing Copic coloring. And then I'm going to work up my sentiment next. So I want to use the possum part of the stamp from the sentiment that comes with this stamp set. So I put some tape over top to mask it. Now don't do this. I forgot to take the tape off. And look at the mess. It was a mess. And I've done this before. So I re-stamped my card and I'm starting with another one. So I remembered to take the tape off this time. And so now I'm just building up the sentiment around that base sentiment. So I want to say happy birthday or have a possum birthday. So I'm going to mask off the parts of the sentiment here that I don't need as well. And remember to take the tape off before I stamp this because it does make such a mess. And I don't want to have to keep redoing this. Now I find when stamping, and I've mentioned this before, you want to stamp the largest stamp first, and so then you can position all the other stamps around it and it makes it easier to balance and to get the right sort of space around your stamps. So you're not ending up with your sentiment running too long or sitting weird in the space. Now I'm coming in with the grass stamp as well from the Dad and Me stamp set. And I just used a color box color there that I showed on screen just to stamp the grass area. Now I'm coming in to color the little pooch, and I wanted to use some bright colors. I really liked the yellow and the green and the bright colors that were happening, so I wanted to carry that through and not just color a brown dog or a black and white dog. And I thought it'd be fun just to use some spring, summery colors. Some lighter colors, so I'll put them all in the description below with some links if you're curious about what these colors are. But I'm just coming in with some blues and blue violets and coloring the little pooch. So I've included the coloring so you can see. Now I think that base color that I laid down, my BV, I think it's 00. I'll put it down below, but it is getting a little bit dry or on the dry side, so I really had to stretch that marker. I use that color quite a bit, and I do need to buy a refill. So I had a bit of a hard time just getting that to cover the entire base of my pooch, but I was able to get it enough to get this colored. And so I also need that color for blending. So what I like to do is lay down the shadows next after I have that base color down. And then I like to come in back with the base color and just soften the transition between the shadow color and the base color. So it creates a softer edge, kind of a feathered edge, I guess. And so I'm just adding the shadows in where I think they'd probably be the parts that are farthest away from the viewer eye, and keeping the highlights near the top edges. And just working the shadows again with those two colors. Now I do come in later and beef up the shadows. Here I have a darker colored marker, and now that I've got my shadows kind of established, they're not very dark, but I want to add a little more drama and emphasis to those shadows. So I'm going to come in with a darker color and just add an extra layer on top of the darkest areas, just to darken them a little bit more. And then I'm working out some extra layers here. So underneath the ear, I didn't put that in before, and then around the eye patch, I'm going to put shadow there as well, just to add a little more dimension. And a little bit around the other eye as well. And then the base of the tail, just adding just a bit of that darker color. It's easier when you work it up, I find. If you're a little bit apprehensive, if you're not sure where to put the shadows, it is helpful to do just a light wash. And then if you're happy with that, you can go in and just embellish it a little bit more with some darker colors. Now I added some pink cheeks and some little speckles on the nose, kind of like little freckles. And then I thought it would be fun to use blue to color the little eye patch and the other patch on his back too. And I thought just all these colors worked nice. They're very summery and bright, and I thought that they really complemented each other well. So again, I'm just putting shadows on the base of the circles, just a top-down gradient from the lightest at the top and the darkest at the bottom, just simple coloring here. And then just to bring in a little bit more interest in the deepest part of where the shadows should be, I just dropped in a little bit of that light blue. And on top of the purple, it just gives it a little bit of a darker shadow and a little bit of interest too. And it helps tie those two colors together. So I didn't do it in all the shadow areas that I created, but just in the deepest parts of the shadows. So you can see what a difference it makes, how it beefs up the purple and just gives it a little interest, I think. I like just mixing colors that are a little bit different. They don't all just fall in the same category, and it makes it a little more fun that way. So I find when I get to this point, when it's just about done, I just want to play a little bit more and push the envelope on the colors and drop in some extra colors. And so what I decided to do is bring in a shadow to ground the element here. And I decided to use a green that complemented the grass green. So it felt like he was in the grass and he is grounded in the scene, so he doesn't look like he's floating in space, but he's actually part of the grass area. So I find this helps too if you're stamping single elements, just giving a little shadow, and it doesn't have to be gray. And I thought the green really complemented nice with the grass and pulled it all together, especially with that yellow. So now I'm ready to put the background onto my base. I've used some foam tape and just put foam tape around the back edge and a little bit in the middle, using my knife to help position it, and then I just get that pushed into place. As a final embellishment, I'm going to use a Wink of Stella brush pen in clear glitter, which is one of my favorites. Oh, I love this so much. And so I'm just putting some on the blue eye patch and the other blue patch on his back, a little bit on the pink on his nose and his little cheeks. So here's a look at the final card. I had so much fun just spending time focusing on the Copic coloring and getting lost in the colors and the little details that I added. I thought this turned out really cute. I had a lot of fun creating it. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you're notified as I post more videos to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.